Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. We are on part 2 of the Operation Below Ground Base, Shelter, or Vault as you may want to call it. And it is quite the dig, because we are digging sideways on this underground base. Alright, so before we cue in the time lapse, let's see what we did with the base so far. So as you can see here, we drilled sideways into the base as far as we can, not too far, not too long in a sense, but enough to make like things like an armory, a parking garage, or anything similar to that. So I have different layers in here, but ultimately the biggest thing we had was this drill system. So this drill system has been attached to my pistons going down when we created the big hole initially. And then we were able to drill it sideways from here. And that you're going to all see in the time lapse in a bit. But initially what I did do was create the drilling system all the way at the bottom to drill sideways. And eventually I thought about it and it seemed like I was going to have to do that for each and every section. So I decided against it and attached it onto this big old, I guess mining platform or shaft you can call it, which goes up and down. So it's gonna bring it down for a little bit, and that's how I pretty much attached it, and that's how I did section by section by section to drill in sideways. I wish it was on a rotating system or rotor, so that eventually I could rotate it and start drilling through these sides and then drill through these sides here. And in order for me to do each section, what I really did was at first try to calculate like the piston number, the heights, and everything like that. So it's that right in the middle of the grid here. It goes straight through. But eventually, I thought of a better idea, and that was to add it with a merge block on pretty much the ideal height. So each section had a merge block. I took it off as we were going upwards, but there was a merge block on this section here, and then a merge block on one of these grids, so they would just, glue together and make it perfect, so we could drill sideways without too much wobble or anything like that. So that worked out a lot better than me trying to calculate it, because that took way too long. So this mining shaft or whole system works really well for drilling sideways. You just gotta figure out a way to do it on the other sides just the same, but it does take a long time to do, because we gotta go forward and then use the hinges. I have hinges on this to go straight forward at 0-degree angle, and then I angle it down to -90 degrees or 90 degrees depending which way it is, and then I go backwards to do a sweep, and then I lift it back up to another angle, another 90-degree angle. I forget whether it's negative or positive angle, and then go back in to another sweep, and it just creates these big types of holes here, and it makes a little bit of a curve towards the back. Very hard to see, need a lot of lights down here. I try to add as many lights as possible, but for whatever reason they just kept on blinking here and there, so I had to kind of take them off and everything like that. I'm thinking maybe the batteries or it's just a visual glitch, wasn't too sure. But sometimes it blinks, sometimes it doesn't. It's the weird system. Let's talk about each section actually. So each section, at first I did 9 blocks up and down, but I decided against that and did 11 blocks up and down. So it's an odd number. Sometimes I like to use odd numbers because of certain things that uses 1 block, so it makes it nicer that way. Up and down is 11 blocks from this platform to this section here, and it made this section to 3 blocks. Initially it was 1, but I thought about it, because what if I did need to make some kind of plumbing system or plumb up certain things. I want to create a middle section where I can probably use a hand drill to drill down a hole or something similar to that, and then hide some plumbing system basically. Otherwise you're just gonna see the plumbing system up and down, and sometimes that's not the greatest thing, but sometimes it's okay, especially if you use conveyor junctions. But I think the best way to hide it would be that way. And the sides got a little bit of hole now because of the way it was drilling, and because of the way I'm drilling, so it gives me some space to hide stuff too, which is awesome. And yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections, or 6.5. because this top section, I didn't drill the top portion of it because I didn't want to go too high, because I'm afraid that it might just go above the ground and create a weird hole. I don't think it's going to, but we'll just keep this one a little shorter than the rest. So this one's probably going to be only 8 high. We could probably do 7 high or 9 high. No, it has to be 7 high, if anything. So we could keep this top one short and the rest all kind of equal. So yeah, the drilling system itself was interesting. At first I did put everything on the bottom, conveyed it so that I could collect stone. But then I realized, I just remembered actually, that we could do a right click and drill system. So I hopped in here, did a right click drill system. So there's an easy way of doing this. So you can actually just right click, go into your control panel, let go of right click, hit escape or cancel from there, and it stays on right click. So I'm not actually holding it on my mouse right now, and it's just running. But I had to sit here the whole time in order for it to run, because once I get out, it'll stop. That's how I made the big holes here instead of gathering it with the left click style, and it made it a lot easier to do so. This seems to be a long ways away in terms of making everything, because next thing I have to do is create the platform for each floor. May have to do some plumbing here and there, and I gotta think about some stuff on the sides. Do I want to make sections there? Technically I don't have to, because then we have so much rooms, but if we do want to do something like that, we can. Probably work on this section first, furnish it and everything, and I feel like if I do need some extra room on the sides or in the back, we're definitely gonna do that. Well, actually the back we're definitely gonna do. We want probably a gigantic hole back here. Actually no, it was this mountain. So no, I don't think we necessarily need it, but we can make it. So one of these holes are gonna go a little deeper sooner or later. We'll plan for that in the future, but I think the next thing to do is put all the flooring down and then work on an elevator system. So I have to bring this shaft thing up, or just drilling system up. I'm gonna drill a deeper hole here and do a probably 4 or maybe 5 pistons, or maybe more. So thinking 1 on each corner, and maybe 2. Yeah, let's do 6, and then 2 on the sides. So it's got 6 pistons and a big platform to go up all the way up there, so we can create some kind of elevator system where we could probably use a vehicle or spaceships to jump onto the platform and then have it go down to the appropriate space, which is probably going to be one of these garages here. Alright, so that was that. It did take quite some time, another pretty much a 3-hour drilling system. It should go a lot smoother once we start decorating and designing this. So next up, it's definitely going to be an elevator system, putting down the blocks. The following video likely will be the hatch door. We'll probably have to think of a decent design and make this completely airtight as well. And I do want to keep this mining or shaft system here as long as possible, because it's been useful, and play around with it as much as I can to do something cool with it, I think would be ideal. Alright, so I'm going to cue the time lapse, so sit back and relax. Alright, thank you guys very much for watching. Of course, hit that thumbs up, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.